Seoul University's top law graduate, marries the heiress to the Queen's Group mega conglomerate. The media eagerly branded it the romance of the century. He was a rural boy from the village of Gilded. When they first met, she was disguised as a struggling intern, and he genuinely tried to protect her. He bragged that his family owned 30 cows and could comfortably support her on a single income. He didn't realize her struggling intern routine was a heavily guarded secret. The woman he was trying to save owned the very building they worked in. 3 years later, their public image is flawless. They give exclusive interviews detailing their synchronized morning routines and declaring their enduring love for the cameras. But cut the cameras, and you'll find the groom sitting in a psychiatrist's office, weeping uncontrollably. His heart races in sheer terror every time his phone rings. He suffers from acute panic attacks triggered entirely by his in-laws, and he spends his therapy sessions begging for a divorce. That glossy billionaire fairy tale is a carefully engineered distraction. The reality of marrying into a Korean chaebol is a toxic, exhausting nightmare. In the Queen's household, a marriage license functions as an employment contract for the family's most sensitive legal issues. His daily routine involves waking up to bail his wife's erratic, violent aunt out of jail after she physically assaults people in public. Back at the office, his wife weaponizes his law degree to enforce her will. He is deployed to file aggressive eviction lawsuits to ruthlessly purge low-performing retail brands from their department stores. If we look at this organizational chart of the Queen's family hierarchy, you can see how the household operates exactly like a corporation. The in-laws sit at the top as the board of directors, the wife acts as the CEO, and the husband is pinned to the absolute bottom. His wife doesn't communicate like a partner. She issues unilateral directives, completely ignoring his legal warnings if they contradict her profit margins. He has no upward mobility and zero influence over family decisions. Any attempt to set a boundary is instantly severed. Marrying into ultra-wealth systemically strips away your autonomy, reducing a top-tier legal mind to a glorified personal assistant. That servitude extends straight into the kitchen. While the blood relatives sit back, the sons-in-law are forced into domestic labor, personally cooking the food for 15 different ancestral memorial services every single year. Even his reproductive system is treated as company property. The family dictates the exact timeline for when he and his wife will have a baby. They've already mapped out the next steps. Immediately after the birth, he is to be shipped off to Boston for an MBA, leaving the child to be raised entirely by hired nannies. Escape is seemingly impossible. Before the wedding, his wife drafted an airtight prenuptial agreement guaranteeing him absolutely zero financial claim to her fortune. Beyond the financial penalties, a divorce carries a professional death sentence. The family's influence ensures he'll never practice law in Korea again, and they won't stop with him. They'll systematically dismantle his rural family's local influence and financial stability purely out of spite. To reclaim his freedom, he would have to accept the total destruction of his own life and his family's livelihood. Pushed to the brink of a total breakdown, he decides that absolute ruin is actually better than spending one more day inside the Queen's Group household. He sneaks away to his rural hometown, determined to tell his parents he's finally pulling the plug on the marriage. But instead of support, his blood relatives panic. His father is the village foreman, a position secured entirely by the prestige of having a chaebol son-in-law. They outright reject his plan to leave. Completely abandoned, he returns to the billionaire estate. He is entirely alone, clutching the divorce papers, ready to face the wrath of his terrifying wife. Before he can even slide the envelope across the table, she cuts him off with a clinical announcement. She has a terminal illness. She has exactly 3 months to live. He doesn't feel grief. Instead, an immense, overwhelming wave of relief washes over him. In an instant, he calculates his exit strategy. He shoves the divorce papers out of sight, pulls her into an embrace, and falsely sobs about his undying love. All he has to do is wait out the clock. In the realm of extreme wealth, marriage functions as a survival game, where a well-timed tragedy becomes the only viable exit strategy.